Hello and welcome to The Route, our ongoing school bus fleet content series. We've got a special episode this time around, and I'm Wes Platt, Executive Editor. Joining me is our guest, Jason Yan, who is BYD America's Director of Sales Operations for Bus and Coach. And as it so happens, our sponsor for this episode is BYD. Thanks for coming, Jason.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you.
Of course. All right, let's get rolling. First, I wanted to get a little history, a lesson for myself and for our audience. How did BYD go from making Motorola batteries to building school buses? I want you to share that evolutionary process with us.
Yes, the BYD company and started with the battery business, and we are one of the largest battery manufacturer in the world till today. Is still the one. And originally, back in the 1995, 1996, there is not such an EV market. So the battery is definitely the one our key, the products at that moment. So from early 2000, and we started to get into the automotive industry, and mid of the 2000s, so we started to do the electric buses, electric car, the hybrid car, trucks, forklift. And from the 2011, we actually, in the US, we moved our headquarters to the Los Angeles, California, and we set up the manufacturing facility in Lancaster, California, and start to build the electric buses. At the very beginning, it was the transit buses and also the shuttle buses. The first group of the customers and who operates the electric buses, including the Antelope Valley Transit Authority, Stanford University, Facebook, all of them are in California.
Right.
Always California started always the early to start with the green technology stuff. So that is how we started with the EV in the US. And in 2019, we actually want to do something for the school industry, the school bus industry, because enjoying the green transportation, the quiet operation, and also the reliable service, the school bus industry, the market is definitely one of the key ones. So from the 2019, we did the research, we started to make the design. Mid of the 2021, we announced our first electric school bus model, which is the Type D. And beginning of the 2022, we announced the Type A, which is our second model for the electric school bus.
That's outstanding. Now, as you talked about, the EV bus industry has grown a lot in recent years, and there have been some new logos joining familiar brands as options for school districts and contractor fleets. What does BYD bring to the table that sets it apart from the competition?
Several things, and I think that's a very good question. And comparing the BYD with all other OEMs or the game players in the industry, there are several significant difference between the BYD and others. And first one, we are not assembler. We basically design our bus from the scratch. So the entire propulsion system is from the BYD. So we got the BYD battery, we got the BYD motor, we got the BYD drive axle, we got the BYD control module. So basically for the entire propulsion system, it comes from BYD because we know that is the key component inside of the bus. It's basically 95% depends on how the bus performance and also the reliability. So that's one things. And the second, use a term is basically the vertical integration. Okay. And the second point is the battery chemistry difference, the technology different. So BYD is the only one to use the LFP battery, which is the safest battery technology in the industry, no matter is the commercial vehicles industry or the passenger vehicle industry. LFP battery is a lithium battery, but is a cobalt-free battery. So which is definitely the safest, the standard, in the industry. So that's the second thing, the second difference. The third thing is, of course, our experience. So from the like I said, from the 2011, 2012, let's just talking about the in the U.S. market. So in the U.S. market, we from the 2013 by today, we have delivered over 650, electric transit bus, coach buses to the transit agencies, airports like Los Angeles Airport, transit agencies like the LA Metro, San Francisco Muni, Indianapolis, and the private shuttle like the Facebook, Genentech, Uber, like university like the Stanford University, UCLA, UC San Francisco. So we have delivered those buses, and they are operating on the street everywhere. So in a different state, so we gain a lot of the experience, and also we learn a lot from the different operations, the styles. For the global wise, we have delivered over 70,000 electric buses. So those experience, all the operating data can help us to keep providing reliable products to the customers, because school bus is a new product for us and in the entire BYD big families. But all the experience we gain in the transit and shuttle industry will definitely help us to provide the best products to the customers.
Great. Now, it's no secret that manufacturers across the vehicle spectrum, and I know you know this, have struggled to meet demand thanks to the paucity of parts due to the supply chain issues that have been going on. How is BYD meeting these challenges?
Yeah, the global supply chain is the one of the hottest the topic since about 2-3 years ago. And it, in fact, not only the commercial vehicle, school bus, transit bus, it basically influenced the entire vehicle industry.
Yeah.
So yes, we got the challenge as well, but like I mentioned before, is because we are doing the vertical integration, especially the key components from for the BYD, the school bus, the drive axle, the motors, control module, battery, it all comes from the BYD. So we have the less the risks than others to suffer from the global supply chain challenge. Of course, we had the good relationship with all the customer, because the vendors, because all the vendors, they provide the parts. For example, like the window, for example, like the door. They are not only provide the door and windows for the school bus only, they provide for the transit and shuttle. So because we already built the good relationship with them and we trust each other, so we always be on their priority list. So we have less risk to suffer from the global supply chain challenge. But whether the challenge is there, it is there.
Yep. All right, great. Now, moving on, thanks to funding opportunities like the bipartisan infrastructure law, we now see billions of dollars available for the addition of zero and low emission buses to school fleets. What advice can you give to school districts that might be reluctant to make the move to electric school buses? Why should they make this leap?
Okay, that's also a good question, because for the school bus industry, I think I know, as far as I know, some school district in the U.S., no matter is in the Midwest, Southwest, or the Western Coast, they started to order or try the pilot project for the electric buses from 2017, 2018, 2019. So right now they are still about hesitating whether they want to start to electrify their fleet, because everybody right now already know, okay, the electric vehicle is definitely in the future for the world, for the industry. So everybody is talking, discussing, and watching. But right now, like you mentioned, the good thing is the funding opportunity shows up, like the recent EPA funding, the EPA grant, totally they're $5 billion, and for the 2022, they're $500 million for the school district to buy the electric buses, which the funding gave to them almost can cover the 100% of the cost. So basically, they're getting the free bus. So what I would like to suggest to those school districts is, first one, definitely apply the funding, because I don't know whether there's another opportunities in the local, from the statewide, from the citywide, that you don't have to pay a lot of money from your pocket and just to get a brand new electric bus. So I think just try it, apply it if it's applicable for your school district. And second one, of course, doing some research about the charging infrastructure, because the charging infrastructure is quite a long-term, plan. It's not just to build a charger and you can use that forever. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And on that funding piece, one of the things I've heard mentioned in one of the webinars was that you might actually be able to stack some of that funding. Like, as long as it's not federal on top of federal, there may be some other EV grants out there that people can go to help, facilitate getting any extra money you need to cover the cost. So, yeah, good points. Last question. We've heard concerns about the need for training to handle this new technology, worries about how efficiently vehicles may perform depending on hot or cold weather, and just overall reluctance to change from what people have known for decades when it comes to the familiar yellow bus. Change is scary. How optimistic are you that school districts are going to be able to adopt EV technology during the next 5 years or so?
Yes, I'm very optimistic with that for sure, because first of all, the compare with the ICE bus, the internal combustion engine bus, and the EV bus is definitely one is much simpler, because the components wise, I remember I read a research for the ICE bus, it will use about the 34,000 components to build one bus, but for the electric buses, it's about the 18 to 19,000 components. So from the maintenance wise, it's definitely much easier, and because of there's no engine, there's no transmission, you don't need to do the oil filter once a while. So maintain the electric bus is definitely much easier from the mechanical side. From the electric side, yes, I think the school industry, no matter its maintenance department or they're assigned a maintenance shop, need to be trained. So BYD provide the training program to those school districts who are gonna adopt the BYD buses. Those training will including the operator training, maintenance training, the first responder training, and also the high voltage safety training. Because we train the trainer, because our intention is we want you to learn as much as possible, because we want you to start to enjoy even the school district, which got other OEMs buses, which is our competitor buses, but we really wish you can like this industry, because once you like this technology, like this product, then in the future, there's more opportunities. So we wish everybody can make the cake bigger, that in the future, everybody can be benefited, not only the customer, but also the OEMs. So for sure, I'm very optimistic, because I saw the training program provided by BYD is very straightforward and is very efficient. I think, yeah, very optimistic.
Outstanding. All right, well, now it's time to park the bus. Thanks to Jason Yan for joining us today, and to our episode sponsor, BYD. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at SchoolBusFleet. You can reach out to me directly at wes.platt@bobbitt.com. Drive safely, and see you next time on The Route.
Thank you.